This is the BC Fishing Network.
Ready.
Woo! My name's Eric.
That's a largemouth, baby.
With me, as always, is the managing director of Lucky Bug Lure Company, Sophie Hughes, and our guest today, a bull rider, a writer, a fish enthusiast. His name is Wes David, and he is the producer and host of Fishing the Wild West TV.
Oh, thanks for having me, Eric. I appreciate it. Yeah, we're going into season 7. It's been a long journey. A lot of people don't realize how I got my start. I actually got my start riding bulls professionally. And I should have got into fishing first, so it doesn't hurt as much. But I went from professional bull rider. I'm a heavy duty mechanic by trade. I write for a lot of magazines. Then the next natural progression was to TV, doing my own show, which led to starting my own production company. And here we are 7 years later. It's been lots of tremendous ups and downs, and all of them good and bad. I've learned just as much from my lack of successes or misfortunes as I have from my successes. So I've learned to appreciate all of them.
How do you come up with your episode ideas if you've got such a short amount of time?
I get to choose myself. There's a few times throughout the season where it's kind of I'm scheduled to go somewhere, but I try to do it from the previous year feedback from our viewers, what they want to see, or sometimes there's something unique that comes up that I really want to show or educate, or that sort of thing. Sometimes, I'll be honest, it's where I want to go.
Fair enough. That's why you have your own show.
yeah But we try to do it, originally it was set just for Western Canada, so from BC to Manitoba. Ontario has a lot of their own shows. So I just did it for Western Canada. Then Montana heard what was going on, same water body, same landscape. North and South Dakota heard what was going on, and then that's when we got picked up by the World Fishing Network. But we still really promote and push and do 90% of our stuff in Canada, especially obviously in the last 2 years.
Right.
We have an incredible fishery, amazing provinces, and incredible people that we do our best to show it to the rest of the world. Because
that's what we've got, and we've got to explore all of the beauty and nature. I mean, I guess some of that too. If you're going to the saltwater, to the freshwater, there's a lot of variety in fisheries.
There is, and and I've learned, I don't know everything. It's impossible. Every time you go out, you should learn at least one more thing.
Speaking of learning, we are going to show you the clove hitch, one of the 3 most common knots used on the water and mountains. This knot is particularly useful where the length of the running end needs to be adjustable, since feeding in rope from either direction will loosen the knot to be tightened at a new position. This knot is taught to boaters and military to use in emergency situations because it is one of the few knots that can be tied with one hand.
Really closely with the Fraser River Sturgeon Conservation Society with Rick Hansen. Every second year I like to do an episode on the Fraser River with BC Sport Fishing Group. The white sturgeon on the Fraser River, they've been tagged. I don't remember offhand exactly how long they've been tagging, but they catch every fish they catch. They put a little chip, and it's just like a tiny chip in behind their skull plate. And it stays with them for the rest of their life. If you catch one, they do a quick scan with this little scanning machine, and it can tell them exactly when it was tagged, where it was caught and tagged, or where it was caught last. And they track the growth, the movement, where these fish have been, the age, from all that. It's just incredible the information they can get from those fish, and it's such a hardy species. It's survived 2 ice ages, 2 world wars.
Only if they could just tell us what they've seen.
Everybody wants to catch the great big sturgeon. I do too, but I sure get a thrill catching the juveniles, because now they're reproducing, and there's I think they only spawn every 11 years, I think it is. Like it's a long time. Like I've caught sturgeon older than myself.
Wow, they have sturgeon that old?
Yeah. Hey!
Okay, let's talk about sturgeon. Yeah, they get old, but even more surprising is just how old the species is. Sturgeon is a common name for the 27 species of fish belonging to the family Acipenseridae. That's hard to say. The family is separated into 4 genus groups. The earliest sturgeon fossils date back to the late Cretaceous and are descended from another, earlier Acipenseriform fish, which date back to the early Jurassic epoch, some 200 million years ago. There is also a closely related species to sturgeon called Bolydon. These are paddlefish. Both sturgeon and paddlefish have been referred to as primitive fishes because their morphological characteristics have remained relatively unchanged since the earliest fossil record. Sturgeons are native to subtropical, temperate, and subarctic rivers, lakes, and coastlines. Sturgeons are long-lived, living up to 150 years, with distinctive characteristics, such as a caudal fin like those of sharks, elongated, spindle-like body that is smooth-skinned, scaleless, and armed with 5 lateral rows of bony plates called scutes. Several species can grow quite large, typically ranging from 2 to 3.5 meters long. The largest sturgeon on record was a beluga female captured in the Volga estuary in 1827, measuring 7.2 meters. That's 23 feet. Some species inhabit freshwater environments exclusively, like the white sturgeon, while others primarily inhabit marine environments near coastal areas and are known to venture into the open ocean. Several species of sturgeon are harvested for their roe, which is processed for the luxury food caviar. This almost led to the destruction of white sturgeon in the Fraser, which, combined with other conservation threats like the draining of the Sumas Lake and recent natural disasters, has brought the species to critically endangered status at the edge of extinction. Canadian harvesting of wild sturgeon stopped in 1994. In North America, farmed white sturgeon are still producing black caviar to this day. Farming and conservation efforts, like those from the Fraser River Sturgeon Conservation Society and all the guides on the Fraser River, have given these prehistoric fish a fighting chance for survival.
And Eric, it's proven that it's working. Whether there's different conservation programs involved that we agree with or don't agree with, it's working. The world, or Western Canada, wherever you want to say, is more populated than ever before, and we're still catching numbers of fish and quality of fish. So, the conservation programs are working. Educating people on fish handling and catch and release has been the biggest thing. Practicing catch and release. So it's working, and I encourage anyone that can get involved with their local hunting and fishing clubs to get involved, because it's making a big difference.
If you're looking for more ways to get involved, check the description. We've got lots of great information down there. If you have any questions, please comment your questions in the comment section. My name's Eric. That's all the time we have for today. Wishing everybody tight lines and no fines. And remember, you can't catch a fish without your hook in the water.